Ding ding dong.
Daily solutions. Daily solutions. Daily solutions. Daily solutions.
Ding ding dong.
All right, Graham here.
This is Ashkan.
And today's question is, what's your opinion on hiring friends or relatives?
Oh. Okay. Well, I would say
It's a tricky
it's a tricky question.
Tricky question. And I guess in general, my advice runs contrary to what we do. It's like one of those do as I say, not as I do kind of things.
Yeah.
Like Float On is pretty notorious for both we've gone into business with friends, we've worked with friends, we've hired friends.
Yep.
And sometimes it's gone incredibly well, like with Ashkan and I. There's only been one case of attempted murder between the two of us. And other times, I've lost at least 3 good friends over working with them in the past. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of an unfortunate situation to find yourself in. So that's kind of that's my opinion, tossing it out there. Discuss.
Yeah, I mean, basically the trouble is we found this, I think, particularly when hiring, not necessarily to work in our shop as like a normal kind of shop person, but for kind of like outside expertise, It's like, hey, we need this, and we have this friend who happens to do that or is good at that. And so oh, great, let's just ask that dude to help us with this.
Yeah.
That's often where we've most, this comes up, I think, probably soonest for people in construction, where all of a sudden they have a buddy who does drywall or is a general contractor even or something like that. And man, it's just, I think probably more often than not, it doesn't work out well.
Yeah, so let's even break this into a few different categories of that. That's a really good distinction to make. So I would almost say that there's the construction side of things.
Right.
There's the actually working your shop operations, like their shop staff kind of things.
Yeah.
And then there's other outside help, like marketing or social media or, something external to actually being in your shop and running it.
Yeah, and the construction stuff, I think, is some of the hardest because it's all of a sudden you have stuff that just has to happen. It's mission critical and especially with the float center, you end up just riding people so much. And it just really sucks to do that to a friend. When it's your friend and you're like, dude, I'm sorry, I know you're tired, but you have to stay here until 11 p.m. and finish this thing.
And they're already doing you a favor and they already have other jobs that are paying them more money that they're waking up early for.
You don't want to do it. And it sucks for both people because it's you're straining your relationship, but also you need to get this done. And that's just way easier to do with someone who you've just hired who's a professional. It's dude, you said you were going to do this. This is your job. I've hired you to do this. You have to do it. Those conversations are way easier and way more clear cut when you are kind of pushing back against a person or a company that you've hired specifically for that purpose.
Yeah. So, specifically with construction, I think our advice is don't go with friends
and I think it's
relatives in general.
Yeah, it's especially hard because it's probably the reason you're going with them, for one, is probably they're cutting you a great deal.
Yeah.
And with construction, that can add up to huge amounts of money.
And so another part of that too is, let's say you did have a friend come in and they're the ones who cut you a good deal on doing your electrical or some plumbing or even doing drywall or something like that, and then a couple years later there's an electrical fire or one of the plumbing lines breaks or something like that.
Right.
With a normal contractor, there are plenty of things you can do, like call them back in. If it was actually faulty work, you can call on their bonds to have them pay for things if they're not willing to do it out of pocket. And then you can take them to court outside of that. You have these realms of legal recourse that you can go through to make things right. And do you really want to be in a position where that's what you're deciding to do or not do with a friend? Either your float center gets paid for the mistake that got made, or your friend gets hit for, thousands and thousands of dollars and possibly loses their contractor license because you're going through this. It's just such a, you never want to have to make that decision.
Yeah, I think really the answer is if you have someone who works in construction who you don't want to be your friend anymore, then you nailed it. You won the lottery, You'll lose the friendship and you'll get cheap construction.
Yeah, annoying acquaintances who do construction, totally bring them on.
That's the jackpot.
I at least rest very firmly in the the side of don't go with friends or relatives for your construction. So that takes us to, I guess let's do the outsourced on the other side. If someone has marketing expertise, they have some social media expertise, and they're planning on helping you out.
I think it's like the same thing. Like, really, I think getting advice and help and stuff like that and kind of working on a project has usually been fine and kind of fun. But it's really at the point where that thing you're working on with that person is critical to your business.
Mm-hmm.
If you're relying on them because you need to do something on a certain timeline or for a certain reason, or it has to be a certain, if it's serious and like important and things are resting on it, like that's when you start getting into trouble because you start to have your business needs conflict with your friend needs, I guess. And but when it's just like, hey, I want to like play with some like new marketing ideas and I have this friend who's good at that and like maybe we'll go out for beers and talk about it and they'll help me out with something. That's always been great, actually, and like a really fun way to go about something.
Yep, I guess like the thing to watch out for would be, you have a friend who does website design and they're like, oh, great, like I'm practicing this new language that I want to do anyway. Like, let me design you a custom website in that language.
Yeah.
And that'll be great practice for me and you can get a website right. But on the flip side of that, like they just designed a website that's custom, so it's not going to be easy to go in for you to change. And they did it in a new language that they're learning, which might not be the most common language for other people to even get in there. And all of a sudden, like through a favor, you now have this mission critical thing, which is your website that you rely on this person to update if there's anything important.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing has, again, been like a recipe for disaster for us. Like those are the kinds of things where we end up annoying our friend too much. It's like, even if it's twice per month, that's still like, you're like, okay, I know that I volunteered to do this back in the day. I don't even do this language anymore. Like I'm only really doing web design as a favor for you. And those get strained, or they just don't update the website regularly enough. Like you change your hours and the website's wrong for 3 extra months because you can't get them to go in and update it. So things like that can really cause issues.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's such an easy one to forget about, but ongoing maintenance, like you really got to think about that. If someone's doing something for you, like, hey, I mean, that's the nice thing about a company is like they're going to be around. And even if that one person you worked with left, they have a responsibility to have someone else there to like help you fix things in the future. And like, yeah, you definitely just don't get that stuff when you're getting kind of a friend to help you out.
Yeah, so I guess my opinion on that side is if you are getting friend help on, outside construction, outside of the basic operations of the center, make sure it actually has like a finish date, or like they're helping you with a discrete project that doesn't have maintenance that's going into the future that you need to keep tapping them on the shoulders for. And stuff that's not critical. Like if they only get halfway through the project, ditch it. No one else can finish the other half. Like that should be fine. Like you shouldn't be out a friend or, really much money or anything like that for the project not getting done.
Okay, so friends work in your shop.
Yeah. And this is one where, it's actually one of the ways that we hire a lot for Float On as well, is not straight from our friend pool necessarily. But when we do have positions open up, we ask our current shop workers if there's anyone that they know that they'd recommend for an interview. And that's how we end up with a fair amount of our kind of interview pool for new positions.
So this one's interesting because I feel like it plays into some of the benefits of hiring a friend that these other things don't necessarily play into, which is that, when you're hiring for your shop, you're hiring someone who's going to be interacting with your customers and stuff like that. And a big part of your hiring is knowing someone's personality and stuff like that. And you get a big bonus with a friend in that sense because you're like, hey, I know this person's cool. I know that they can like talk to people in ways that are like nice and respectable. And, that's stuff that's hard to tell at a 20-minute interview. You sit down with someone from Craigslist. So you have this benefit of being like, okay, well, I kind of trust them to like be talking to customers and interacting with them and knowing how to be competent in that sense. And so there actually is that benefit to it, and you can kind of feel if they're going to be good for that or not.
Yeah, I would almost say like I personally, as an owner of the business now, and we started Float On by, again, like just not following any of this advice.
Yeah, all we did was hire friends.
Yeah, all we did was hire our friends immediately. And that's, again, like some of my lost friendships come from that, from hiring friends specifically to work our shop, not even for construction.
Yeah, but not necessarily all of them ended like that. There's people who were our friends who came, worked our shop for long times, and even got to the point where we had to fire them. It wasn't even like a nice kind of termination, It was like we had to straight up just fire them, and we're still friends with them, and it was cool, and like things are actually okay, and we'll still hang out, and it was not actually like a big deal.
So it's a mixed bag. Yeah, it can go. It can
definitely
direction.
go either way.
But what I was going to say though is I think I actually like staff hiring people they know, or like having the shop staff recommend people that they know rather than us owners recommending people to go in. And there's something about just having that highest level of decision-making power where someone really needs to get chewed out or someone needs to get fired or something like that, where you don't have to weigh your friendship against disciplinary action or give them a third chance when all they deserved was a second chance or
Right.
whatever it is like that. And, you know, especially in the early days, at least for me, like I think I'm just a huge pushover and stuff like that. But I have a really hard time drawing that line and shooing out friends. And I think as a result, we ended up with some staff members who stuck around longer than they should have,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
and like to the detriment of the business because my friendship got in the way of the decision that I probably should have made as a business owner.
Yeah, there's also some when someone working in the shop is thinking about hiring one of their friends, I think there's some kind of personal repercussions if they don't do a good job because like they're gonna have to pick up the slack. You know, like if you're working the shop, you also want the other people working to be good at their job and cleaning up well and stuff like that. I mean, like we've had a lot of times where we're like, hey, let us know if you have friends you think would be good here. And people are like, you should never hire any of my friends. Like those guys, like, no, you don't want them in
It
here.
was almost a verbatim quote from one of our staff members too.
So yeah, I think there's a little bit more kind of like, yeah, I mean, repercussions that puts people in a slightly more cautious mindset when you're going to be working alongside them instead of kind of, I guess, above them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
So there's 3 different categories of hiring friends. And if you have any other kooky questions you want to send our way, shoot them over to floatanksolutions.com/podcast.
Yeah, our friend over there is just collecting all the answers first.
All right. Bye, everyone.